Hey Saddleback Berlin. Pastor Tony here with an update for our church family here in Berlin. And before I talk about something that is Berlin specific, let me talk to you about the big news that came out of California last night. As you know, our church was looking for a new senior pastor, and Pastor Wick announced last Sunday that the search is over. Our new senior pastor is going to be Pastor Andy Wood. Pastor Andy and his wife Stacy lead the Echo Church in San Jose in the Bay Area in California, a church that they started 14 years ago with basically nothing, and they managed to build a church that is healthy, that is purpose-driven, and that has now 4 different campuses. Pastor Andy is someone who has bold faith and who is a bold preacher. He preaches about topics that many pastors don't even talk about. He is someone who is very humble. He is a strategic thinker and planner, and he is a team player. I'm so excited to work with him, to work for him, to learn from him, and to follow his leadership in this new chapter of our church. This is an historic moment for our church. You will get to know our new senior pastor in the coming weeks, starting this Sunday, on Pentecost Sunday, when we have a special video announcement from Pastor Wick and his wife Kay, together with Pastor Andy and his wife Stacy, where they talk about God's calling in all of this, and they talk about the transition, and Pastor Wick will share with you why he thinks Pastor Andy is the right person for this job. And so make sure to be there this Sunday. Our service starts at 11 a.m. in Colonia Nova. And apart from that, we have a couple of other things planned for you, because we will celebrate Pentecost. We have a great sermon by Pastor Wick for you. And we will do barbecue after the service on our rooftops. So make sure to be there 11 a.m. this Sunday at Colonia Nova. Also about this news, please join me in praying for our church, for this transition, and praying for Pastor Wick and his wife Kay, who gave almost 43 years of their lives for this church, and they will of course stay in our church. And to pray for Pastor Andy and his wife Stacy and their 3 kids as they move to Southern California and move into this new position of leadership. And let's also pray for Pastor Andy's church, the Echo Church, because they now are looking for a new lead pastor themselves. Also, Pastor Andy and his wife Stacy will start their ministry at Saddleback on September 12th. So there's still some time to say goodbye to Wick from that position. So this is exciting news from California. And as I mentioned, I wanted to share another news with you here from the Berlin campus. The past 9 months of being campus pastor here in Saddleback, Berlin were incredibly fulfilling for me. This is by far the biggest challenge and the biggest honor of my life, to be your pastor and to lead this church. But it was also a time that required a lot of sacrifices, because it was a big challenge and a lot of stress. And so the sacrifices were mainly family time and quality time with my wife. And so when I took over as pastor here in Berlin, Tabea and I knew that we had to sacrifice these things, but that this is only for a period, that our priorities doesn't change, that our priorities are and will always be God first, family second, and ministry third. And so we agreed that I will go on parental leave when our little baby turns 1 year old, to spend more time with my family and more time with my baby. And so Mira turns 1 next week, and I will start a 2 months parental leave next Wednesday. before I talk to you about what does it mean for our church and what does it mean for you, let me talk to you about why this is important. And I already mentioned it a little bit. I do believe that you cannot be a good pastor if you're not trying to be a good father and a good husband. I do believe that you cannot separate family and ministry from one another. And I do believe that family should always be more important than ministry. And that if you need to sacrifice family time, that it should be only for a certain amount of time. And the second thing why this is important is because we need to recharge our batteries. We need to recharge, refocus, and really calm down to come back and be prepared for this new amazing chapter in our church. And so I hope you can understand. You can understand that decision of me going on parental leave and being there for my family and my daughter. And so what does this mean for our church? What does it look like? Well, the first 4 weeks until I think July 8, I and my family, we will not be in Berlin. And our staff, our amazing staff, our worship director Julius, our administrative manager Mary Pili, our SK director Jessica, our SK program coordinator Madida, and our intern Amina will be there for you to answer questions and to host the services, to organize events and everything. We have a couple of other kind of guest hosts for the Sunday services as well in that time. When I'm back in Berlin, I plan to come to we will definitely come to the Sunday services, and you will definitely see me, and I will do things here and there for the church, but the primary focus will be my family and will be my daughter. And I will be back from parental leave at the beginning of August. So there is no reason for you to be afraid or anything, and I want to assure you that I will be back, that I will come back, because I love this job, I love this church, and I love you. As I mentioned, this is the greatest honor of my life to pastor you, and I am sure that I will look forward to be back. In order to close this special video announcement with these two announcements that you've heard, I have a Bible verse for you that I want to share with you right now, and I hope it encourages you. It's from Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Now, this is not my church, this is not Pastor Wick's church, and this is not Pastor Andy's church. This church belongs to Jesus, this church belongs to God, and it is their plans that we follow. And we know that the best is yet to come, that God has so much in store for Saddleback Church and for our campus here in Berlin. And so I am looking forward to open this new chapter with Pastor Andy and with you. And so with that being said, please reach out to me if you have any questions. Write an email to tony@saddleback.de. And have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.